In the last 2 decades, 70% of all value created in the technology has came from companies having this one thing, just one thing, that is network effects. But here's the thing about network effects. Every company thinks that they have it, when in reality they don't. When I work with startups preparing for fundraising, there is this one precise moment in the pitch where investors' eyes get light up. That's the network effect slide. It's when you demonstrate that your product gets more valuable as more people use it. And that's why investors are obsessed with network effects, because that's the strongest moat you can build for your startup. In 1908, president of AT&T, one of the biggest telecom companies in the world, says something which will define the next century of the business. He says, value of each telephone increases with every other telephone connected to the network. Think about it. If you are the only person with a telephone on the planet, your telephone has no value. It's nothing more than a paperweight. But when 10 people have it, it starts to make sense. And when million people have the same telephone, you can't live without one. Then in 1993, a guy named Robert Metcalfe turned this idea into a mathematical concept. Metcalfe's law says that value of a network grows proportional to the square of its users. So if your network grows from 100 users to 200 users, the value of your network doesn't just double, it quadruples. That's not a linear growth, that's asymmetric exponential growth. That is why investors go crazy about network effects. Every new user doesn't just add value for themselves, but they add value to the every existing users. And that creates a very strong moat, and it gets deeper as you add more users. But here's where founders get confused. Every other founder I meet tells me, hey, we have a network effect. Our product gets spread through word of mouth. And I have to tell them that it's a virality, not network effect. Let me explain. Virality is about how fast your product spreads. Think of a referral program. You invite 3 friends, they invite 3 more friends, and suddenly you have thousands of users on the platform. That's great for growth. But here's the question. Does your product gets more valuable because those 1,000 users joined on the platform? If the answer is no, then you have virality, not the network effect. Let's take Dropbox example. Dropbox had one of the most successful referral programs in the history. You invite friend, you both get extra storage. The product spreads like crazy. But did Dropbox become more useful because your friends started using it? Not really. Your files are still your files. That's virality without the network effects. Now let's take WhatsApp. When WhatsApp launched, it was competing against SMS, which was costing people actual money. But the real magic was every friend who joined WhatsApp made your WhatsApp more useful. More people to message, more group chats to join, and more reasons to never go back to SMS again. That is network effect. The product itself become more valuable as more people start using it. Investors know that virality can be copied by anyone with a good marketing budget, but a real network effect, that's almost impossible to compete against. And Facebook understood this really early. When Facebook was studying its early user data, it found something very fascinating. Users who connected to 10 friends within first 14 days had double the retention rate than those who did not. So what Facebook did, they redesigned the whole onboarding for you to add friends immediately. That people you may know feature, that wasn't just for fun. That was for this. Once you are connected to 10 friends, you are not leaving Facebook. The product is now too valuable for you. So, how do you design a network effect? Let me show you exactly how I do it with the real startups I've worked with. When I was working with a startup, a virtual try-on platform for fashion, the founding team had a great product, but no clear network effect. Users could virtually try on clothes using AI. That's cool, but that's a single person experience. A single user using and trying on clothes on the platform doesn't make the platform better for another user. So we designed a flywheel. Here's how it works. A user opens the app, tries on clothes virtually, and then, now this is the key part. She posts that look inside the app. Some of her friends come to the app to give comments, give suggestions, or maybe try the same outfit by themselves. Suddenly, the same app has become invaluable to all the users. So they bring in more friends and the cycle repeats. Every user who posts bring in more users who also posts. The product gets better because there is more content, more opinions, and more social proof on the platform. Now let me show you another one. A startup, basically a platform for athlete-led experiences. Athlete creates experiences on the platform. Think of training camps, athlete meetups, exclusive events. Fans attend these experiences, they post the content on the social media. Now suddenly there are many fans who watch this content and come to the platform to pair with the athlete. As there are more fans on the platform, the more athletes want to join. That's how the platform grows. Did you notice something? Both these startups are consumer led businesses. And this is the big insight from working with these startups. Network effects are more prominent with the consumer led businesses. Think of B2C businesses. Because the users are the product. More users literally means more value. For B2B SaaS product, the value comes from the kind of features you add to the product. But for B2C businesses, the value comes from the network effect you have. And this is what makes investors disproportionately excited about the genuine consumer led businesses with powerful network effects. But here's what nobody tells you. Network effects can work in reverse. Do you remember Clubhouse? In early 2021, Clubhouse was the hottest app on the planet. You needed an invite to get in. Elon Musk was hosting rooms, VCs were fighting to get on board. The app hit 10 million users and was valued at $4 billion. The network effect was real. More interesting speakers meant more listeners would join, and more listeners attracted more interesting speakers. Classic two-sided network effect in the platform. But then something broke. Twitter launched Spaces, Spotify launched live audio, LinkedIn did the same thing. Suddenly, the speakers had more options. And when speakers left, listeners left. When listeners left, more speakers left. This is what's called inverse network effect. The same loop which worked in the favor of the product now works against it. Value collapses faster than it was created. Clubhouse went from $4 billion valuation to, well, does someone uses Clubhouse now? This is not new. Orchid was the biggest social network in India and Brazil before Facebook came in. Friendster had 115 million users before MySpace took over. The pattern is always the same. When users start leaving the network, the value drops for everyone who stays, and that makes more people to leave the platform. So the network effect is the strongest moat you can have, but it has to be maintained. The moment you stop adding value to the flywheel, it breaks. So to bring it all together, network effects have created 70% of value in the tech. They are different from virality. They have to be intentionally designed, as we did for the two startups. And they can work in reverse if you are not careful. But if you get it right, you build the kind of company which investors can't say no to. Because a true network effect would mean your biggest competitor would have to rebuild the whole network from the scratch just to match your product's value. And that's nearly impossible. If you are writing a business plan or creating a pitch deck, think about where network effect sits in your product. Even if it's small, design for it. Comment down below, does your startup have network effect? If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and make sure you subscribe for more. See you in the next one.